good evening. Welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live on News Up at Desawe Kanda, also live on 3FM 927 on Facebook. We're also live as well on X. You can join us with your thoughts, views, comments, and opinions this evening here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. One person reported dead following a confrontation over chieftaincy dispute at Akuapem, Akropong in the eastern region. We have live updates on this unfortunate development as we go on here on Hot Edition. Also, Organised Labour welcomes government's decision to remove some fuel taxes and levies, but calls for deeper cuts to significantly ease the cost of living pressures on citizens. Also, Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference calls for a serious national dialogue on family values and LGBTQ issues, cautioning against attempts to downplay its significance. We have all these and more here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. I am Alfred Ocansey. Let's settle for a summary of the news now, getting some details from the Queen of the Moment.
Hello, Alfred. This is a news summary here on Hot Edition. First in the summaries, a massive corruption scandal in Ghana's downstream petroleum sector has been unmasked with recent investigations by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, OSP, uncovering widespread irregularities involving bulk oil distribution companies, oil marketing companies, and high-ranking state officials. The illegal activities, which include sophisticated tax evasion and the diversion of subsidized petroleum products, are estimated to cost the Ghanaian taxpayer approximately 2 billion cedis annually. Meanwhile, the Member of Parliament for Ketu South and Minister for Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Ablaji Fagomashi, has embarked on a working visit to key security agencies within the constituency as part of her parliamentary oversight responsibilities. The visit was aimed at strengthening collaboration with security institutions, discussing critical security concerns, exploring job opportunities for constituents, and receiving first-hand updates on operational challenges facing the agencies, as well as to thank the commanders for a peaceful Easter season. Also in the summaries, the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, says it will work with other state agencies to clamp down on importation and clearance of some right-hand drive vehicles following safety concerns raised by the National Road Safety Authority, NRSA. The move comes after the NRSA's technical committee flagged the Toyota Voxy, a vehicle commonly imported and converted for commercial passenger transport, as unsafe for long-distance travel. The authority has since moved to restrict its use, citing risks to commuters and other road users. Also, the Minister of Foreign Affairs has informed Ghanaian travelers to the Xinjiang area about the gradual rollout of the European Union's new entry-exit system, EES, a digital border management framework designed to replace traditional passports stamping with automated biometric checks. In a statement issued in Accra on Thursday, April 9, 2026, the ministry explained that the system, introduced under Regulation EC number 2017-2226, began phased implementation on October 12, 2025, and is expected to be fully operational by April 10, 2026. And finally, Ashanti Region's water security is facing a growing threat as two of the main treatment plants supplying the greater Kumasi metropolis are gradually being choked by silt and heavy pollution of plastics. According to the management of the Ghana Water Company Limited, the Owabi treatment plant is already 75% clogged with fine sand particles and plastics, while the Barikese Dam, the largest treatment facility, has lost 40% of its total water holding capacity to silt. That'll be all for the summaries. Over to you, Alfred.
Nora Mohammed, thank you so much for the news. And there's more you can find on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Hot Edition. We're live as well on 3FM 927 on Facebook. Unfortunately, the developments we're hearing is that one person has been shot dead following a gun battle with police personnel during an operation linked to a chieftaincy dispute at Akuapem, Akropong in the eastern region. Correspondent Yvonne Nikwe is joining us on the telephone with some updates on this. Yvonne, what more do we know about this?
Well, Alfred, what more we know is that the police in the eastern region has confirmed the death of one of the suspects in the course of the arrest today. Now, on Wednesday, when the Akuapem celebration was ongoing, dispute occurred between two factions. We do know that in as much as the Akuapem have their substantive chief, peace has not been stable as at when he was installed, because between the Queen Mother and the substantive chief, they haven't been able to resolve quite some issues. And so there's been quite a long-standing battle between them. Unfortunately, this Wednesday, there was a renewed dispute on that particular basis. Reasons why the police had to move in to arrest people they saw in the video who were causing the dispute or causing the clash. First, they arrested 2 people. The third person they wanted to arrest wanted to obstruct the police in the process. And then they moved on to get a 4th person. The 4th person did not allow for the arrest. And then a gunfire ensued between the police and that 4th person, resulting in his death. And so, unfortunately, as a result of it, 1 person has been lost, 2 of them arrested and currently at the police custody. The police says that they saw a pump-action gun, smoke that was worn by one of the suspects, and other materials that they'll be using as exhibits as they investigate and then process the suspects for court. But they are warning that people who are part of the faction do not continue to engage in any dispute. Otherwise, they would have to ensure that law and order is maintained.
I see. Earlier, we had reports. In fact, some other media houses reporting that the deceased is the bodyguard or the personal security guard of the Queen Mother of the Akuapem area. Are you able to confirm this?
Well, Alfred, I can confirm that something.
Hello.
Hello, Alfred.
I lost you briefly. You were saying. Hello, Yvonne.
Hello, Alfred.
We're losing you. So you're saying, who is this person, the deceased? Is he the person who is reported to be?
Indicating of
Yvonne, I cannot hear you now. The line is a bit cranky. If you could be a bit. Hello. Hello. Unfortunately, we lost Yvonne Nikwe then. We'll try to raise her back on the telephone and get some updates on this here. Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale. We're live on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. You're hearing now the confirmation of 1 person who's been shot dead following a gun battle with police personnel during an operation linked to a chieftaincy dispute at Akuapem, Akropong, in the Eastern region. Yvonne Nikwe, who's the Eastern regional correspondent, is at the scene of this incident, giving us updates on the latest developments so far. Yvonne, I was asking if the reports that the deceased is the personal security guard of the Queen Mother of Akuapem is true.
Well, Alfred, per my own findings, the person who has died is not a confirmed bodyguard of the Queen Mother, but of course an individual of the area belonging to a faction. We can as well say that safely he belongs to the faction of the Queen Mother, but not a bodyguard of the Queen Mother.
And does it go by the nickname Dragon, as has been reported?
That is a fact. We do know that it goes by the nickname Dragon.
All right. Yvonne, thank you so much for this update. Appreciate you. Yvonne Nikwe there is our Eastern Regional Correspondent on this rather unfortunate development. We're keeping an eye on this one. We'll be updating you as we go on here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Organised Labour has welcomed the government's decision to reduce fuel taxes and levies, describing it as a step that could bring some relief to workers across the country. However, Labour leaders say the reduction must be more significant to have a real impact on the rising cost of living. The development follows a directive by President John Dramani Mahama after an emergency cabinet meeting yesterday, instructing the ministers for finance and energy to remove selected taxes and regulatory margins on petroleum products. The move is aimed at cushioning consumers against recent fuel price hikes, driven largely by global tensions and supply disruptions. Speaking exclusively to our Labour Affairs correspondent, Daniel Opoku, in Accra, Labour leaders advocated a substantial reduction in fuel prices to ease the financial burden on workers. And this is what they had to say.
I think it's it's a good thing to be done. But I thought that the president could have come straight ahead and made a decision. But we are in democracy, and maybe I think he has to also allow his cabinet to take part in the decision making. So it's not bad. Let's see what the finance minister and the energy minister will come out with. I don't know the actual taxes that are in the bill that they want to take, but we pray that something substantial should be done so that it's a positive impact on the Ghanaians and the Ghanaian workers or those who use fuel in this very country.
Look, the president has taken the decision because of the ongoing crisis in the Middle East. That's the reason one for us to see. But do you think to have any positive impact on the Ghanaian?
Yeah, surely in Ghana, fuel fuel is everything. Then when fuel prices goes up, everything is affected. So if he's able to do something to reduce the price a little, I think it will also have some positive impact on Ghanaians. So it's a good attempt, but we pray that in practical terms they're able to do something.
Now, there's a portion of the system which says that government, the ministers they are not going to get their allowance have been cancelled and all that. Just everybody should sacrifice.
No, I think that this directive, I thought it's a directive that came some long time ago. I thought it's being implemented, but if it's not being implemented, my fear is that you don't have to also make a decision that will affect the performances of our ministers and the senior ministers and the rest, because people have to use fuel in their cars and run up and down when they are doing their work. I think they thought through what will be the impact that before bringing the directive. But if it's not being implemented, I think it should be implemented. But they should make sure it doesn't affect the effectiveness of our ministers and the senior. Everybody needs some kind of protocols to actually work with. But when it's being abused, that is where I think that directive is very important. So it should be implemented.
My final question to you: so you believe that the earlier question was with regard to reducing the tax? You want to see something substantial?
Yes.
Want to see something substantial?
I should see something substantial. If 2 or 3 taxes are removed from the price build-up, definitely the price should also be reduced. So let's hope that something substantial is come out of this directive, and Ghanaians will feel it. Ghanaians will feel the reduction or something of that sort.
But in case some things normalize, are we not likely to see an increase?
In Ghana, anything at all can happen. Now that the prices have increased, that's why this directive has come. So let's see when the prices are stabilized. Let's see what another directive that will come from the president. But as a union leader, what I will call for is that workers and Ghanaians must be relieved a bit. I mean, they must have some benefits being citizens of this very country. So any positive decision that we make by the government, by the president, by whoever, should be something that benefits the citizens and workers at large.
So that's Joshua Ansah, who is Secretary General of the Trade Union Congress, while the Ghana National Association of Teachers believes the revision of petroleum taxes will bring immediate relief. It is, however, worried about the long-term impact on the economy. And this is Thomas Musa Tanko, is General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers on this.
If there is any reduction now, for me, it's good. It will cushion the Ghanaian worker. The sachet water that was not increased is also good. Because in our days, we drink water directly from the tap.
That is correct.
We don't bother ourselves with that sachet water. No, we drink directly from the tap. Today, we have all shifted to sachet water. Go to any home. It is the rubber and all that. So we need to commend the government, but these things are not sustainable. You see, these kind of interventions, they are not sustainable. Why? Because you see, we need money to develop. The monies that could have gone into other developmental areas, it is that money that is going to put on the altar of sacrifice. Some resources will have to be sacrificed. I'm telling you. Assuming we go and take off the taxes from the petroleum and all that, Are we not sacrificing some kind of investment, maybe things that could have helped us do one or two things? Yes.
Thomas Musa Tanko is General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, not them. Now let's go on to the telephone lines now. And Godfred Abubere is General Secretary of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU. Abubere, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Hot Edition.
Good evening, Alfred.
Great. You were waiting for the outcome of this emergency cabinet meeting on this matter of the fuel price increases yesterday. Now we know what the decision is. Government has communicated a review, in fact, a removal of some taxes and levies on the price build-up so as to bring some cushioning to the consumer and essentially you, the transport operators as well. This has come to you as some good news.
Yes, it is good news to some extent, but not holistically. It is good news. The government that has decided to waive off some taxes on the fuel is looking at it from a broader point. And when I say broader point, I mean all fuel consumers, not only commercial. That is why the government has taken that decision. But if it was an issue of looking at only the commercial operators only, we had indicated early on that the moment floor fares goes up, it shoots inflation up. And when inflation goes up, what we may be achieving from the little increment on the lower fares would definitely then be tarnished by the sharp increment of almost every commodity in Ghana. So we had indicated to the Transport Minister that we would want to actually hold and massage the situation until the next pricing window for us to see what is going to be the outcome, whether by the 18.50 margin will be going up or will be coming down. That was the decision we had taken with the Transport Minister. And the government had taken a different decision in the sense that they are not looking at only the commercial operators, but that generally all vehicle users in Ghana do buy fuel, whether petrol or diesel. People do buy. So when it is done, it's a relief, not only to commercial drivers, but to everybody who is a vehicle user and actually do buy fuel. So it is news to us, but it is to some extent.
Well, the minister in charge of government communication was quite clear in his communication that these tax and levies removal would kick in the second pricing window, which is just some 5 days away from today. Now, what's happening is that the crude oil prices on the world market, which is one of the factors that influences pricing at the pumps, has been reducing, at least after the ceasefire announcement between U.S., Israel, and Iran. Now it's selling at about $98 a barrel. Some are selling, in fact, Brent crude is selling at $96 a barrel as we speak. If this continues, all things being equal, all that means is that it would influence the pricing. And then we're going to see a removal as well in the taxes and levies. That could possibly also see at least petrol prices, diesel, going down or being maintained in this second pricing window, is it not?
Alfred, you and I know that decision to see that it will hold on until the next pricing window. When it gets to the pricing window, there has to be a procedure through Parliament before those taxes can be removed. And I said, supposing it gets to that time and then the fuel margin, the fuel issues from the current situation we are facing from the U.S. and then the Iran war, it comes down sharply, and then the crude oil price also comes down. I don't know whether you will still believe that the government will still remove those taxes off. The removal is to cure the problem, to make sure it brings down the pump price to the minimum that we can buy. But supposing the situation itself, by the issue of the ceasefire, then it normalizes, and the fuel price from where we are now goes back to where it was. Do you still think that these taxes that we are mentioning would be removed? So
it's about the timing for you, not so much about whether or not this is going to be removed.
Exactly. So I think that if actually they had actually hold on to the next target window, which they have set at the target, and which we equally also had mentioned, then it would have been a base point for all of us to decide whether taxes should be removed, fares should be increased or not. These are the two main problems we are struggling with. Taxes should be removed, fuel price should come down, and fares should not be increased. That's all I want.
I see. And Gilbert, thank you so much for your time on this matter, and we'll see how the next pricing will treat us all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Godfred Abobere is the General Secretary of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, there. Dr. Ofori is the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, and you heard the GPRTU General Secretary talk about what goes into the pricing window for the next pricing window. As we're seeing now, there are a number of factors that is taken into consideration when fuel prices are actually being put up on at the pumps. As we see it, the currency, that is how the cedi is faring against the dollar, because we import petrol and diesel into the country. Although we have the Tamari refinery, from what we understand, our at least 30% of our local production and then also consumption of petrol and diesel is refined by Central Oil. This is the Central refinery at Tema, the privately owned, Chinese-owned Central refinery. And then the Tamari refinery also refines about 10% of our local consumption of petrol and diesel. The rest is imported. Now, with the importation, we need the dollar. And so how the cedi is faring against the dollar is important in the scheme of things, in pricing of petroleum products at the pumps. Then we have also the crude oil prices on the world market, which is currently, we're reducing now with speed at least, from about $120 now to about $96 per barrel as a result of the ceasefire between US, Iran, and also Israel. Then the final is the taxes and levies on the price build-up. That is what you're seeing on Facebook right now as we're putting all of these three components that influences pricing at the pumps. The taxes and levies is what government has indicated that they're going to reduce or remove some of the taxes and levies. We have the Energy Debt Recovery Levy, Road Fund Levy, Energy Fund Levy, the One City Development Levy, and then also Price Stabilization and Recovery Levy, as well as the margins on the price build-up. And all of that will be subject for review. This is Dr. Ofori, when I spoke to him earlier regarding this announcement by government and how the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors is receiving it.
Well, I'm not surprised, judging from the previous engagement that we've had with both the Finance and the Energy Ministry as sector players. Definitely, government per their various scenarios that they were managing were going to intervene at a certain point in time. But as to where they were going to get that is what we need to hope it covers both the margins and then also the taxes as specified in the communique. So we'll be keen monitoring to see which of these taxes are going to be taken off and what percentage of the various margins are going to be taken off, so that it does not also create another problem, especially those margins that seek to manage certain operations.
Right. See, and to the extent we have just 6 days for the next pricing window in the month of April to kick in. You hear the Minister in charge of Government Communications saying that this decision to take off these taxes and levies will take effect in the second pricing window. Also, we have seen the price of crude oil trend downwards. There's a decline. Now it's about between 88, 85. So we've been reading $90 at some point today. Is that going to influence the pricing in the second pricing window? Are we going to see a reduction in the price of petrol and diesel because of all of these dynamics, the removal of the taxes and levies, the crude oil price on the world market also declining from where you sit?
Once by close of Friday and then also by 13th of April, we pick the numbers and it continues going down this trend. Obviously, the consumer is going to benefit from that because, like I always mention, petroleum pricing is the most transparent and the most objective commodity that is priced in the country, because you have the regulator, the competition within the sector, and then also a formula that everyone, when you put it in your spreadsheet, you're able to arrive at how prices are going to be.
All right, we'll look out for it, Dr. So that's Dr. Patrick Ofori. He is the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors there. Earlier, the Minority Caucus in Parliament welcomed government's decision, but is calling for specific tax components that would be scrapped. Colin Sadumako-Mensah is Deputy Ranking on the Energy Committee of Parliament, and he addressed the press earlier today.
Ghanaian consumer is a welcome news. We in the minority thought that this decision should have been taken long time ago. And you just played a recording of my press conference that was held 3 weeks ago before we rose from Parliament. We were very clear in our mind that on the basis of what we were experiencing on the international market, government should have taken this decision sometime last 3 weeks. But better late than never. We've been told that they intend to suspend some of the taxes and levies. They were not clear about specific taxes and levies to be suspended. And I'm sure as my good friend Felix read out, the ministers of finance and energy will be coming out clearly to give us the specific levies and taxes.
Very well.
A long time ago. In fact, we opposed the 1 Ghana cedi introduction in the first place. So that is the first one. The second one has to do with sanitation tax. If you recall, my very good friend, the finance minister, Dr. Forson, whilst in opposition, indicated that one of the taxes he claimed to be nuisance tax was the sanitation levy. And so we also expect that the sanitation levy will be taken out. These were the two that we raised. These were the two things that we brought up. And so that would be our expectation. It would. At this point, any amount is welcome. I mean, 1 Ghana cedi out in the build-up that you showed on your screen is quite significant. And if you take out the other sanitation levy, which is about 10 pesos, that is also quite significant. And I'm sure consumers will be very, very appreciative of the fact that government will take that decision. I've listened to GPRTU. I've also heard other well-meaning Ghanaians calling for the taking out of that 1 Ghana cedi. Well, government is also making some extra revenue from this whole crisis. Don't forget that in the budget, if you look at page 100 or so, government indicated that crude oil will be selling, they projected $76.2 per barrel. Don't forget that Ghana is also a net exporter of crude oil. We also produce crude oil here. So now that crude oil is hovering around 95, 99, at a point in time it went above $100. Government is going to rake in some extra revenue, which they did not anticipate. We have put the value at about 8 billion within the year, extra money. So taking off the 1 Ghana cedi is not going to be helpful. I'm sure the other revenue that is also accruing to government will be used to plug that hole.
That's Colin Sadumako-Mensah, is the Deputy Ranking on Parliament's Energy Committee, sharing his view there. So live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Away from that, that's on the 9th of April 2026. The National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations arrested some 2 illegal miners who attempted bribing the task force with 30,000 Ghana cedis during a day and night riverbed patrols on the Ankobra River. Now, at approximately 2:50 p.m., while conducting routine riverine patrols on the Ankobra River, the NIMOS task force arrested 2 individuals engaged in illegal mining activities at Drabanso in the Nzema East District. The suspects were observed actively mining in a reckless manner that contributed to significant pollution of the river, leading to the apprehension. Upon interrogation, one of the suspects admitted ownership of the illegal mining site and further disclosed that he had several workers operating at a location approximately 80 meters from the Ankobra River. The task force proceeded to inspect the site and discovered that the miners had created an access path linking the operations directly to the Ankobra River, thereby facilitating the discharge of pollutants into the water body. During the operation, as the task force commenced the destruction of the Chamfan machines mounted on improvised locally manufactured boats, The site owner and his accomplice approached the team and attempted to bribe the personnel of the National Illegal Mining Operation, that's an IMOS, with an amount of 30,000 Ghana cedis. But if you go on our Facebook page right now, we're showing you this video of these illegal miners with 100 cedi notes and 200 cedi notes attempting to bribe the NIMOS officials. Go on our Facebook page right now at 3FM927. We're showing you this video of the miners, the illegal miners, counting the money. And they had no idea that the National Illegal Mining Operations team were actually taking videos of them. And this video has now been released by the NIMOS team, and the bundles of 100 and 200 cedi notes that these illegal miners were seeking to bribe the NIMOS officials with. The two suspects have since been handed over to the Akropong police station for further investigation and possible prosecution. The operation highlights NIMOS' continued vigilance and zero tolerance for illegal mining activities, as well as its firm stance against corruption in the execution of its mandate. It is envisaged that the sustained patrols and enforcement actions will be maintained to protect the Akropong River and surrounding environment. Meanwhile, what we're learning is that the NIMOS night patrol team conducted a targeted operation to disrupt illegal mining activities along the Akropong River. 5 p.m. yesterday, the team embarked on night patrols with the areas visited during the daytime. The night action followed NIMOS observation of recent shift in the patterns of illegal miners who have increasingly resorted to conducting their activities under the cover of darkness along the Akropong River. The NIMOS task force also adopted a revised strategy to include sustained night patrols along the river, the newly deployed military speedboats. So that's what's happening right now regarding this particular development. We'll keep an eye on it. If you go on our Facebook page right now, at 3FM927, we're showing you videos of the NIMOS operations when they burnt these Chanfang machines, set them ablaze, and then also the video that captures these illegal miners counting money, 100 cedi and 200 cedi notes, bundles of them, attempting to bribe the NIMOS officials. We'll be back shortly after this quick break here on Hot Edition with some more of the news. Stay with us.
Every woman deserves hair that looks and feels amazing.
From 92.7, we're also on Kesmi, 107.1 in Tamale, and on W 93.5 in and beyond. A mass fish mortality incident at the Tama shipyard has triggered an urgent joint investigation involving the Food and Drugs Authority, Fisheries Commission, Tema Metropolitan Assembly, and the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service. The incident was first detected in the early hours of April 6, 2026, when security personnel observed large quantities of dead fish within a 50-meter radius of the main unloading ramp at the Tema shipyard. In response, the Ghana Health Service, through its Tema Port Health Unit, has led a coordinated effort to assess the situation and safeguard public health. Authorities say interim containment measures have been activated and are being strictly enforced to prevent the illegal harvesting and distribution of the dead fish by nearby fishing communities, an act that could pose serious health risk. Let's hear from Roderick Dadia, who is the Deputy Chief Executive of the Food and Drugs Authority in charge of the Food Division. I spoke to him on Ghana Tonight last night on this matter.
So what we came across, that it was whole fish. I mean, as it was, not rotten. But I mean, it was quite curious to see such amount of fish. The information we got from the security people at Tema was just as we saw, that they had kind of heaped into a certain corner. I mean, it was spread over some area, but I mean, they were sort of heaped. Yes, I mean, so let's say that was the day that we got the information as it was, and the security people attest to it that the numbers had depleted. At the beginning, it was, let's say, it was more than what we came to meet. I mean, when we came to our notice, we asked that certain measures should be taken to quarantine. So they had a kind of a net that they were able to spread, which would not let one get to the fish or be able, like, for example, to float away. And so that is how it was sort of cordoned off. And then we did the arrangement with Port Health. So our action was to visit the nearby market. There's a fish market there where we went to check whether such fish had found its way there. Remember that when these things happen, people, that we are in a country, and as quickly as you hear, you try to stop the movement of fish. So we went to the market to check, and it's not like we have finished. It's something that we keep doing in the environs, because the natural thing that people tend to do would be to we say that competence we leave to the Fisheries Commission. They are the people who are competent in that area. But for what we saw, they were uniform as it was, and therefore it was even, we were thinking probably could it be? We don't know what the truth is, that the investigations are going on. Fisheries Commission won't find out. It's very interesting when we are dealing with you, the media. I mean, for us, our primary concern was that we don't know what killed the fish, and ours is to ensure that it doesn't get into the system. For me to give you a breakdown into the biology science, it is how quickly the FDA and this sister institution has been able to work and be able to get and put away the fish that we saw. And I think that is of concern. As to the biology of what is there and the types that are there, in due course, as the investigation goes on, the Fisheries Commission will let us know.
Well, so that's Roderick Dadia, who is the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Food and Drugs Authority in charge of the Food Division. Let's now speak to fish pathologist Dr. Peter Zida for further insight on it. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Unfortunately, we lost Dr. Peter Zida. There is a fish pathologist to give us some details on this here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Your thoughts and views, comments and opinions are welcome at 3FM 927. Read out to you and to the rest of the world. And this is a matter that has generated quite some concern, especially amongst you, the members of the general public, who have been also asking questions about exactly what type of fish that this is, and then also what you should be looking out for. And that's what I sought to find out from the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the FDA in charge of the Food Division, giving details of this finding yesterday, because admittedly, as he did indicate, some of this fish, dead fish, had found its way onto the market, because the quantity that, according to the port officials, they had or observed the day before this was discovered had reduced. So what that means is some of it had been taken or had found its way onto the market. Let's have a conversation now with Dr. Peter Zida, a fish pathologist. Good evening. Hello, Dr. Zida, good evening. Hello, good evening. Can you hear us?
Hello, good evening. Good evening.
Great. Thank you for talking to us. Now, the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the FDA has been giving details of how they discovered this large amounts of fish at the ports. What I sought to find out from him was, because they had considered that some of the fish, at least, could not be accounted for, the dead fish could not be accounted for, the release yesterday did not give us details of the type of fish, so that at least members of the general public would also be on the lookout when we go to the market. Is it one of concern to you as well?
Is it what?
I was asking if that's of concern to you as well, that the release did not give details of the type of fish, so that the members of the general public would also know.
It's of concern. It's of concern.
And what should be the next phase of the communication at least from the FDA and the Ghana Health Service regarding this particular development?
Why are you calling the FDA here? In this country, we have a department that oversees animal diseases, both terrestrial and aquatic. The veterinary service is there. That is why veterinarians have been posted to the Fisheries Commission to help in doing this. And anytime people start up with Ghana Health Service, this thing, we need to know the cause of death. And then before we start going to look at the public health risks, because the cause of death will relate to the public health risks, isn't it?
Right.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
So I just want to tell you that fish kills in the open ocean happen as a result of mostly as a result of climatic conditions, environmental factors like depletion of oxygen, algal blooms, pollution, and even habitat change. Habitat change could come as a result of maybe we pushing in a lot of rubbish into the seas, and then it changes the nature of the sea, and this could lower the oxygen intake for the fishes, and then they die. The rising temperatures and all those things can cause the fishes to deorientate them, and then they can die.
Right. Let's see.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you clearly, Doc.
These are the major causes of what happens in the open sea. So, what happens in the ponds is different, and what happens in the open sea is also different.
So identifying the cause of death is as critical as also getting to know whether it's going to be injurious to the health of the public or not.
Of the public. And then of the public. It's very important.
And it's been about 48 hours now. Should we have known the cause of death by now?
We could get the suspicion of it. What happened in the... You see, in Ghana, unfortunately, I've worked and I've suffered these things a lot. The coordination, that doesn't happen. And when things happen, things are not reported to the appropriate quarters. Do you understand it?
Yes,
So, creates a lot of problems about institutions. So, the cause of death of the fish, what caused the death? If it's an environmental factor and it's not as a result of algal bloom, as well as the red tide, which could be poisonous to human health, no problem. But then, diseases come also as a result of the environmental factors. Do you understand it? So it is very good you know the cause of death, because you need to do a post-mortem, or even visual watching it, you can tell what really is trying to kill the fish. Do you understand? Then you can relate it. I mean, in medicine, we do things step by step. Do you understand it?
Yes.
Because I was reading the news too, and I was surprised because this thing happened some time ago. And when we said environmental factors, people were complaining. People were saying that diseases don't come just like that in the open sea. They come mostly, you see them mostly when there is a fish culture situation. You know, that's my experience, and that's what I know from the books, you know.
I see. And I thank you for your insight on this. And my final question will be, and you lay these questions squarely at the doorstep of the Fisheries Commission. They have to lead this process. Now, from what we're getting, to the extent that some of the fish has found its way onto the market, what should be the mechanism to identify these fish, the fishes that have been, at least from what we're hearing now, made its way onto the market, so that even before we get to know the cause of death, there would have been some mitigation measures to ensure the public is not exposed?
You see, all these things comes to education first. Why should people rush to be collecting these things and be selling? There are a lot of things going on through our food system. And it is because our food system starts from somewhere instead from the base. You see, in defining food safety, we say from farm to fork or from plow to plate. But here in Ghana, we just do things from the middle. We are building an academy of Lagado, where we start building from the roof. You see, so if you don't get the cost, how can you know? People go and harvest these things or pick them up. I remember some time ago when they picked them up and we went to see. Yes, we gave them the go-ahead, but even then, at times it's dangerous because if it's an algal bloom, then the effect of toxin is very high. You understand it? And I will not be surprised if tomorrow you get some people talking about other health problems. You understand it?
Yes, I do.
So it's a lot of things. The Fisheries Commission should lead it, yes, we agree, because the vets are there. But it's mainly a veterinary job. You understand it? It's mainly a veterinary job. You don't just stand up and say somebody should go and do something and give an answer to you. You say, we like I tell you, we are doing things in the reverse situation in Ghana. Because if you look at it, right now you're talking about food safety. They have gone into the market. How did they go into the market? People have seen fish because people don't know. Because I remember when I came to Ghana as the first person of fish pathology, people were telling me I went to study problem for myself. People were asking me, can fishes get sick? Until it started showing. Do you understand it? So why don't you arrange these things in a very better way, educate the public about some of these things, and then we roll out. Because right now going to the farm, to the market to say you want to identify this, it will be difficult. And let me give you a scenario. Some time ago when they were using formalin to go to the sea, the fishermen thought we couldn't get it. We just got a chemical and we detected formalin in the fish and we seized them. You understand it? But all these things are not prepared now because it's something that's not happening. Do we plan? Our planning system too is very bad. Do you understand it? I've worked through the hazardous system for some time. So this other, I'll tell you, I mean, I don't know how you go and determine this thing in the fish market. I can't tell you. I can't give you a definite answer. No.
Doc, it's quite a troubling one. Thank you. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana.
The only advice I'll give is that the people should be resourced. And you see, recently we did some exercise. Why don't we let this organize? Because food and transport, what are they going to see? When human beings die, you go for postmortem, isn't it?
Yes.
Why is that when animals die, you don't want to go for postmortem? You want to go somewhere else, my brother. Why are we doing that to ourselves in Ghana?
Dr. Zida, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Okay, bye.
Dr. Peter Zida is a fish pathologist here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on KESME 107.1 and on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. Bismarck Osa standing by with the business news.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the business segment on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck. Also coming up tonight, a technical advisor at the Finance Ministry assures of transparency as government secures $434.55 million in oil revenue for Accra-Kumasi Expressway. Thanks for your company. Now to the details. Government has earmarked and transferred approximately $434.55 million in oil revenue to support the development of the Accra-Kumasi Expressway. The funds, drawn from annual budget funding amount ABFA, have been moved into a special purpose vehicle under the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund. Speaking to the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, technical advisor at the Finance Ministry, Dr. Theo Champong, confirmed that while the money is secured at the Bank of Ghana, it remains undisbursed, pending the conclusion of vital preparatory work.
The monies that have been put aside for it, those monies are still sitting at the central bank. They've not been disbursed as yet until we complete the technical work that needs to be done, and then you can leverage that. But the point for me there is that long gone are the days where we were sharing the oil monies, the ABFA related projects like peanuts. Everybody gets something little and there's nothing to show for it. We've been complaining about turning out. I think this is the right way to go. You put the money in some of your big ticket infrastructure projects, but make sure that they are commercially viable.
And that was technical advisor at the Ministry of Finance, Dr. Theo Champong. Now, Executive Director of the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, SEMSE, Benjamin Insia, has suggested that government's move to review the fuel price build-up is primarily driven by mounting revenue and economic concerns. Government on Thursday, April 9, delegated authority to the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition and the Ministry of Finance to determine which specific taxes or levies within the petroleum prices structure should be adjusted in the coming days to cushion the public without crippling the national budget. According to Benjamin Nsia, this decision likely stems from three critical scenarios with a heavy emphasis on balancing fiscal stability against the need to provide immediate relief to consumers.
There was a bit of difficulty with respect to agreeing on tax cuts in the petroleum downstream. I think there are some cabinet ministers who think that tax should not be cut and prices should be allowed to operate as they are. The second scenario is that there could be lack of data at the cabinet level with respect to the debt situation or the debt-owed IPPs against the performance of the various levies on the price build-up. So further information will be needed to ensure that appropriate interventions are taken in the downstream. The last scenario could also arise from the fact that maybe government wants to monitor the market in the coming days and ensure that tax cuts are appropriately done and to maintain price stability in the petroleum downstream. There could be a situation where taking off the 1 Ghana cedi from the build-up could not yield any impact because price on the international market may escalate further. So these are the reasons why I think that the decision pronounced by Cabinet with respect to delegatory power to these ministries has arisen.
And that was Executive Director of SEMSI, Benjamin Nsia, bringing us to the end of the business segment on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck. Also, for more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com. I'm Joseph Faiz here for Sports News. Please stay.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. My name is Andrew Sefa Bamfo. Let's start off from the Ghana Premier League where Ediana FC scored a late goal from the penalty spot to secure a 2-1 win over BBN Gold Stars. My colleague Mutalaya Kubu was in Doma and put together this report.
It was a crazy end to the game here between Adriana and Gold Stars in match day 29 of the Ghana Premier League. Prior to this big fixture, everyone was talking about what could possibly happen because the dynamics could change. And by the end of match day 29, we could have someone or a new team being on top of the table. As we were coming to this fixture, it was Gold Stars who were leading the table. They are still leading, but they lost by 2-1. First half of this game, was a pretty much 50-50 game. It was the second half that came alive. Benjamin Chivanyo gave Adriana the lead before Razak Sanu, the Burkinabe striker, equalized for Gold Stars. Then in the dying numbers of the game, there was drama because Adriana were awarded a penalty, which their top striker, Emmanuel Marfo, stepped up to convert to make it 2-1 as they won the game. Meaning that on Sunday, Mediema, should they win against Asante Kotoko, will be back on top of the Ghana Premier League table. As it stands, Gold Stars are still on top with 51 points and Mediema have 50 points. But other games that will be coming up this weekend in the Ghana Premier League, we will see Vision FC also take on Hartford. Young Apostles who play Swedo All Blacks. Dreams against 11 Wonders. Nations who play Holy Stars with Karela Atamale also hosting Heart of Lions. And Samatex at the Insecure will come up against Brekum Chelsea. But on Sunday will be the TNA Stadium because Mediema will be playing at Asante Kotoko. Will be live on TV3 and on your TV. Coverage starts at 2:30. Do make a date with us.
So that was a report by my colleague Mutala Yakubu on the Ghana Premier League where Ediana FC secured a vital victory. Finally, before we go, remember that the Rise Continues Boxing Bout, an initiative put together by Legacy Rise Promotion, is currently ongoing at the Boko Marina. The headline bout will see Ghana's Theophilus Alote battle Namibia's Jonas Erastus later today. That's how we draw the curtains on Hot Edition here on 3FM 92.7. My name is Andrew Sefa Bamfo. For more updates in the world of news, business, and sports, do join us same time next week.